Soundtheory, the developers of Gullfoss have developed a second plugin named KRAFTUR. That's right, it's only their second plugin. KRAFTUR is strictly speaking a saturation plugin. This type of plugin has already been beaten to death now, so what makes this saturation plugin special to stand out from the huge crowd? KRAFTUR works in both single band and multiband, and you can blend between the two modes and blend with the dry signal. That mix is done here with this triangular XY pad. I find this type of interaction with the plugin always to be very straightforward and user-friendly. When you reach a corner, you can see that the handle is really made of arrows. It's a lovely design touch, and the same goes for the red tail of the mix handle. KRAFTUR is based upon level, and with any saturator, loud parts will get saturated first. The single band controls are displayed in white. These are also the general controls for the drive and saturation behavior of the plugin. For the level control you get drive, which is input gain.
Take a moment to realize. Gotta catch it for it pass.
Knee works as with a compressor. It sets how smooth the saturation kicks in. Offset feels a bit like a threshold. You change when that saturation starts in more broad or smaller sense.
Now's the time.
Change them here or in the display.
Gotta catch it for.
When you go down here, you find 3 frequency bands for the multiband part. These work in addition with what you have set with the single band global controls. These 3 really work as threshold settings, but it's without an obvious level change.
Gotta catch it for it passes on by. Now's the time. Take a moment to realize. Gotta catch it for it passes on by. Now's the time. Take a moment to realize. Gotta catch
The crossover points can be changed up here, where you will also find easy to use solo buttons.
the time. Gotta catch it for it pass.
At the end of the plugin you find a clipper with its own sound.
Now's the time. Take a moment to realize.
Basically, this is how the plugin works. It's very straightforward. We'll get into more sound examples in a minute, but first make sure to subscribe if you haven't already and leave a like. Cover songs is probably one of the many types of songs you would love to do, but uploading to a streaming platforms is always a hassle due to copyrights and required fee because you cover an original song. DistroKid makes this very easy for you by offering the option to do this all for you for $12 per song per year when you have a DistroKid subscription. Use my link in the description to get 7% off of your first year on a DistroKid. This big graphical display is pure eye candy. The display shows the incoming and outgoing frequencies. Incoming audio is on the bottom and outgoing levels are on the right. This does look really good, but I'm not convinced this is the best way to show incoming and outgoing levels. I think a simple overlay is more clear. KRAFTUR works with sample rates between 32 and 384 kHz and internally with a max of 768 kHz. It has a low of 392 kHz. That 392 is a weird number because it doesn't multiply nicely with normal sample rates. Maybe it's a typo and it should be 192 kHz, which makes more sense since it's 4 times 48 kHz, which is 4 times oversampling of 48 kHz, which makes more sense. There are no oversampling options in this plugin, and my guess is that it probably uses 4 times oversampling by default. If it's something else, just let me know in the comments. The plugin uses no CPU when there's no audio passing through. When there is audio and the plugin processes, it's about 8-ish% on my Cubase performance meter. This plugin is also zero latency. This surprises me because it has a level match function. This is a process which matches the output level to the input level. You would expect that there must be some kind of buffering going on for the plugin to check and adjust the output volume to the incoming audio level. I don't know how they managed it. Testing the level match seems to work perfectly fine without adding that larger expected latency. The level match works perfectly fine and it adjusts itself when you change anything in the plugin. The plugin is developed mostly with mastering in mind, but of course it works on audio as well. But first, here it is on the bus. I'll start with pushing the plugin into saturation and adjust from there. KRAFTUR adds a nice glue, the whole mix comes more together and the density is increased. As with any saturation, you have to be careful not to overdo it in the higher frequencies, like with the next master. I'll adjust now. The plugin works great in a more subtle fashion as well. Check on this next acoustic guitar. It sounds more even and finished with KRAFTUR, and you can see it too. This file here is the acoustic guitar with KRAFTUR with the settings you just heard rendered on it. You can see that the overall loudness has increased and that peaks have been reduced. Overall, I like KRAFTUR. Its zero latency and its almost aliasing free saturation sounds really good. The intro price of $69 is pretty okay as well. But can it hold up against something like FabFilter Saturn 2? Check my review on that plugin in the video which is displayed on screen and linked in the description below.